Hi guys. So I finally I had the stock tires put back on the Cruze ECO rims. So I just wanted to give my first impressions of driving it. Uh, only about 30, a little less than 35 miles. This is just my work commute in, and I wouldn't pay too much attention to the efficiency numbers. This is mostly freeway uphill, about about a 400-foot elevation gain overall. A few grades in between, but and plus they still, even though it's warmed up a bit, the tires started out at only about 36 to 37 maybe psi, just because they're resetting the bead. So I'll probably up the cold pressure back up to about 42 psi. But just my initial impressions are with the stock tires back on there. Well, it drives better than with the fuel assurances, and it those were driving poorly enough that at the tire shop I actually just went ahead and ditched them. I'm not gonna even bother keeping them for the used ones. They had some odd wear patterns, and yeah, they're just not great tires. So when I replace the tires on my Volt, I'll probably not use them either. Um, but yeah, so I just went ahead and uh, put the stock tires back on, and I can say maybe it's just a placebo effect, but they do seem to be driving better, and the turn in is definitely easier and better. I mean, you're shaving 5 pounds of weight off of each wheel, off of each corner. So, um, yeah, my initial impressions of the driving are that it's been much enhanced. And then of course the other issue is, um, I'll do a little bit more long term, kind of watching the efficiency and see how that goes. But I expect a small improvement, but nothing major. Most of my driving is higher speed freeway driving, at which point the rolling weight and just the weight overall of the vehicle has a minimal effect. But anyway, so yeah, I'm liking it so far, and I still think even if you're going to stick with the stock tires, it's a worthwhile upgrade. And then just a side note too, someone reminded me that the second generation Volt, the 2016 2017 Volts, their rims are actually under 20 pounds as well, just a little over 19 it seems like. So even if you wanted to just shave off about 2.5 pounds, or about 3.5 pounds instead of 5 pounds, you could probably do that, just going with the second generation Volt stock rims if you can find them. Plus, the design is pretty cool. And then also, I get to work where my chargers are, and I have a new neighbor. Awesome. So they still have dealership plates on. I don't know which coworker it is, but it's a Premier, but I is the Premier. All right, guys. Okay, so this is another just a little update on the tire. So don't pay too much attention to the efficiency. That was just more me screwing around. Though I did kind of intentionally take a different route back, because it's very consistent. So I didn't charge up enough at work to reset. So um, but the route typically it's up a hill and then down a hill, and usually it's a net elevation decrease, but by the time you crest the hill it's usually about 2.4 kilowatt hours used, and then by the time I get to the bottom it's usually about 1.8 to 1.9 kilowatt hours used. But with these new rims, and still the stock tires, I was actually significantly less than that. I believe it was about 2.2 kilowatt hours when I crested the hill, and it was down to 1.6 kilowatt hours used by the time I got to the end of that pretty consistent run. So there is probably, depending on other factors and other conditions, probably about a 5 to 10% uh, efficiency increase that I'm seeing using these rims. But that's specifically going to be going up and over a hill, which is kind of like forcing yourself to accelerate, driving against gravity or whatever. So that's kind of what I wanted to see, though, because I figured there would be a little bit of an efficiency there. improvement there. And then the other thing is too, just the taking those curves and driving the windy road. I just wanted to sort of verify something that I've been feeling, which is that the turn in feels a lot crisper and a lot easier. I guess yeah, more efficient and less effort to sort of turn in, um, and it just feels much smoother with the lighter Cruze Eco rims. So uh, again, that could still be something of a placebo effect, but it definitely feels a lot better in terms of handling. Um, like I said, turn in and handling. And then the other thing is too, another reason not to pay too much attention to these efficiency numbers. It was warm enough that the PSI on the tires increased a little bit, but this is still the sub 40 PSI that they use when they set the bead on the tires. So I'm probably going to inflate them up when they cool down to the cold pressure of 42 PSI, which is typically what I like to leave them at. And then that will actually probably improve the efficiency again a little bit more. But like I said, so far I'm really liking these rims, and I feel like they're a much better fit for the Bolt EV in terms of not even just efficiency, or I mean performance, right? Just in terms of efficiency and everyday driving and handling. Losing about 5 pounds of rotating mass off of each corner, it just improves the steering and the feel of the car a lot. So, and again, there's also the other option too. If you prefer the design or the pattern, the second generation Volt rims are only about 2 pounds heavier than these, or about a pound and a half to 2 pounds heavier than these. So you'd probably have a similar but not quite as dramatic improvement in the same way if you got those rims. But anyway, yeah, just another impression and update with these new rims. So.